Here we don't go.
It gives me options.
Hello, Monday Movie Club lovers. Today we're continuing our project where we recommend the movies for the others of us to watch. And I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with me is Amy Licking Goldman. And Joel Fenster, who's about to be sponged. And Mark Wotis Gardner, who is changing his name to what? What did you say? Oh no, your penis's name. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Fritz Long.
Fritz Long. And Annie King, who had to work today, so that's why we're here now. All right, so this is one that both Amy and I chose. I didn't have a list, but if I had one, I would have chose this movie. And back in 1980, I think it was, for me, it was an amazing movie about these kids struggling through high school and performing and all the things I wanted to do. And I think mostly I had just left my high school years and Amy was just in them, right?
Not even.
Not
Annie
even,
and
so-
when this movie came out in June of 80 or May of 80, depending on where you look, we were just leaving 8th grade.
Right, so
And
it's
in most of public schools, at least in Queens, you go to junior high 7, 8, 9, and high school 10, 11, 12.
right, so it was still ahead for Amy, so she took notes during the movie. So Fame chronicles the lives and hardships of students attending the High School of Performing Arts from their audition through their freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years. But it's also more about the kids growing up and seeing the world around them in different ways. And and here you get 7 classes and a hot lunch. And Hot Lunch was the original title of the film until they found out there was a porno movie with the same name, which Mark Gartner is surprised to learn.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
So it was producer David Silver's idea when he went to see A Chorus Line. There's a song in there called Nothing, where she relates going to the school. And he thought, there's a whole movie in this thing. And he got Christopher Gore to write the script. And then when Alan Parker was hired to direct the film, he rewrote it and made it darker and more dramatic in tone. But the New York Board of Education did not like the script, and they wouldn't let them film in the actual school. So the city of New York found some abandoned buildings that looked like schools and let them film there. And Parker had originally approached Giorgio Moroder, who he had worked with on Midnight Express. Why am I saying all this? Does anybody care? And Jeff Lynne
Mark.
from ELO, but neither of them wanted to score the movie, so they went to
Michael Gore.
Michael Gore. Was he related to Christopher Gore?
No, Leslie Gore's
No,
younger brother.
Leslie Gore.
Leslie Gore is his sister.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of gore on this movie. Albert Haig, who plays Sharovsky, was actually a teacher at LaGuardia High School, Fiorello LaGuardia, the Performing Arts High School, when he was cast, and then actually revived his acting career. And then this was interesting. During the Fame dance number on 46th Street, which the Performing Arts School is actually on 48th Street, but they filmed this on 46th Street. The cast was actually dancing to Hot Stuff by Donna Summer because Fame hadn't been written yet.
Oh,
So imagine having to write Fame and be like, no, it has to go boom, 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 like Hot Stuff.
Which is
And,
not a great movie, by the way.
Which is what? Another
Hot Stuff.
different.
Hot
Different
Stuff is
movie.
not a great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And among the people who auditioned for the movie that didn't get in, Madonna, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Amy Goldman did not get in the movie. And Madonna also auditioned for the TV series. Imagine if she had gotten that. That would have changed the whole trajectory.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have gotten the worst Bond film in the world, worst Bond song in the world.
Joel's had a rough day.
Oh, Joel.
And 4 of the film stars, Jean Anthony Ray, Lee Carriere, Albert Haig, and Debbie Allen, all went on to reprise their roles in the TV series, which ran from 1982 to 1987. And Debbie Allen actually had a much bigger part. And in this movie, she actually only has 1 line. wicked. And her part got cut down because, I mean, the movie's like 2 hours and 15 minutes already. So they cut her shit out.
Yeah, I
Alright.
read that he filmed enough to make a 10-hour movie, and then the original
Yeah.
cut was 2:30, and then they cut her out.
Yeah.
But the other great audition part, casting part, I mean, I'm sure maybe you were gonna say, was Gene Anthony Ray was 17 when he auditioned. He was a member of PA, a student at PA, and he really was kicked out for his attitude. And then
Yes, I read that.
And then
I
he
read
went
that.
on to big stardom at the time in the show. He was a big star of the show. I loved Leroy in the show.
And then unfortunately he died from AIDS.
Yeah,
He died from a stroke.
He died from
due
AIDS.
to AIDS.
All right. And then Alan Parker said many years later that for various reasons, he did not like or get along with most of the young cast. And of course, it was a big success. The movie, wouldn't say huge success, but definitely a success. And then it led to the TV series, and they made a stage adaptation. And then we had a remake in 2009, a useless remake in 2009. There was one thing that I found very funny was that, it spans the 4 years of high school, but Doris's brother was the same age when the movie started and when it ended.
Yeah.
Kid never aged at all. I really do love this movie. And Alan Parker is a musical genius. And I wrote, see the commitments, don't see Evita.
100% agree.
Oh my gosh. So, and a number of the kids from the movie actually went on to some fame. Like I said, the two that did the TV series, Irene Cara had a few pop hits. Paul McCrane had quite the career, including a stint as the much hated Dr. Romano on ER.
Yes.
And he's
And-
currently playing one of the executives at Gulf Western in The Offer on Paramount Plus.
All right.
Oh, I'm so glad to see he's still working, because I was going to say in one of my notes that when RoboCop came out in 1987, it was, oh my God, that's the kid from Fame. And it was RoboCop.
Yeah. But then Iara.
Yeah, and then Iara. Oh my God.
And Boyd Gaines, who is not
Boyd
one of the
Gaines.
core 8 people, he was the graduating senior who went nowhere. He has won 4 Tony Awards, but
Yeah.
is probably best known for the 4 years he spent on One Day at a Time.
One Day at a Time as Barbara's husband.
And of course, Debbie Allen here. She, obviously Debbie Allen. And but nobody was the hugest hit. I guess Debbie Allen really was the biggest success, but she's not really in the movie that much.
Yeah.
So 3.5 stars for me. I love this movie. I love everything about it. Even watching it today, and I probably haven't watched it in 20 years. It was great. It was beautifully done. And I love how, things segue into different things, and it really was a fun movie. And I don't have a pen to write anything. Oh, here I am. Annie King, did you have fun watching it?
I had a lot of fun, and 2.5 hours went by like that.
I wanted it to be longer.
Yeah,
Give me the 10-hour version.
yeah, I felt some of it was a little stereotypical, like Doris and Jewish mom and everything, and auditioning with Barbara Streisand song,
But it's so funny with the mother standing at the door and the way she sings is drama. Oh my God. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
very fun.
So funny.
But also, like, I didn't feel like they showcased the musicians. I know we had the drama and the dance people and stuff. I didn't feel like they showcased the musicians. The one guy that was in the audition, of course, he's the Asian guy playing the violin. I just felt
Right.
like, of course, that had to be.
Annie played the violin, by the way.
I played the violin.
Where's your violin now?
I did not play the
Yes,
violin.
you did.
I played the clarinet.
Oh, yeah, you did play the clarinet. Your sister played the violin. Your brother played the violin. Oh, wait, I played the violin. before, right.
Rachel played the
Rachel played the
violin.
violin, of course.
Yeah, but
You played the
And
clarinet.
she's not Asian.
no.
But she went to PA.
Yes. So,
Now she's PO'd.
one of the funny things I thought was when Doris's mom was taking pictures and the flashbulb.
Instamatic,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the Instamatic. I
Yes,
wanted
the
her to go
Polaroid.
like this so you could see the whole tower spin. You know, the
Yeah.
lights would spin.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
That was
I was
cute.
like, oh my God, people don't even know what that is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're like, what is she doing right now?
Yeah. So the other thing that I really like Bruno, but we really never got much of his story. Nothing much going on.
It was
with
just
him.
nothing but the synthesizer and the music. And
Right. So
I mean, I guess you got to assume he went on to greatness having her sing such great songs. All of a sudden, he wrote these great songs, you know. So, but he was nothing.
and I was like, oh, Mark will be so happy with this movie because there's actually tits in it. So
He
Yes,
mentioned them
ma'am.
to me last week on Facebook when he watched it.
wow,
I was like, thanks for the boobs.
yes. And
This
then
movie gets 3 boobs,
Yes, exactly.
not stars, boobs.
3 boobs.
and I really love the way that the music was just constant, you know, with everything, that it really played well, like as he was smashing the glass cabinets and stuff, that the music like
Yeah, it
really-
was almost
that-
balletic. It was
Yeah,
great.
it was great.
Yeah.
Great.
yeah, it was really good. So I really like that, how the music went with
Again,
action.
Alan Parker is great at musicals.
Yeah, so the one thing I wanted to mention was watching it with my daughter, who actually went to a performing arts high school. She played the viola, by the way. She was
She
just
didn't want to
like,
be a cliche.
yeah. Well, we actually pushed her. I don't know if that's stereotypical Asian mom, but she started with the violin in 4th grade, and when she got to middle school, I made her switch to the viola because violinists are a dime a dozen, but not violas.
Yeah.
So I made her switch, and
Okay, Tiger Mom, calm.
yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, so she watched it with me, and she's like, those things never happen. We're not even allowed to take our instruments to the lunchroom or anything. And so
Right.
She realizes this was 40 years ago.
yeah, yes.
Right.
And
When
how
it
all
was-
that,
Appreciated for that.
When it was all anarchy, you could do anything you wanted.
Yeah.
with
What
your
you
instrument.
wanted.
yeah. So I was like, hi, you weren't allowed to do any of that stuff, but back in the day, you could, how about all that graffiti on the subway and
Yeah.
everything? It
Yeah.
That
was-
was real. Yeah.
yeah, it
we-
was such a different time, you know.
Right.
But
We
it's
walked the 9 blocks to school when we were 11. Today,
Yeah, with
nobody
wonder
does-
bags on our feet.
right.
Uphill both ways.
Both ways. Well, Annie and I walked across the street, but well, no, she didn't go there. But
I know I could look out my window, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was, you know, just it still held up. Even, you know, just the stories of the kids, although they didn't like show any normal kids. Everyone had a huge issue. But
Say
I think-
Bruno Martelli, who didn't have a big issue, and you're saying he didn't have a story.
right,
Yeah.
could you not tell about his normal life then? I didn't even see him eat dinner with
Well,
his
I mean,
family.
he had to deal with his father.
Right, so.
All
a
right, so
little
Annie
fight
King, what's
over
your
just-
rating? We're
yeah,
keeping
that was the
Joel
thing.
awake
The
here.
thing was his father, and then he's the one that got into the TV show.
Sure.
3.5 stars.
Thank you. Mark, I already said you had 3 stars, so.
Well,
you feel
yeah,
you
let's
need
yeah,
to-
let's get me over with before I pass out. So I apologize.
Joel's
I'm gonna
falling asleep over here.
maybe we'll see. For me, first of all, I never saw this movie.
Never
Oh,
saw it.
yay!
I saw the TV show. I said to you
Ah.
before, I was like, I haven't seen this movie since the mid '80s. I was wrong. Think about it. I was born in 1975, so the movie came out in
Yeah.
'80. My parents are very strict. I didn't watch any R-rated movies, so my memories were of the TV show because it's very similar, obviously. So when I was watching this, I was like, yeah, there's no way I've seen any of this. I don't remember any of this before. So I did enjoy it. I will say that in the beginning, I like that they put the, auditions freshman year, sophomore year because I'm admittedly a bit of an idiot and I sometimes have trouble following the story. So I like that they were like, okay, year 1, year 2, year 3. It was very good for me. But I will say, like 15 minutes in, it struck me. I was like, wait a minute, these are auditions. These are supposed to be 13 and 14-year-olds or what, 14-year-old kids. They all looked like they were 20. I mean, whatever it was. So I thought that was a little unrealistic. I have my notes are all over here. So I'll say that the boobs were an unexpected surprise, and they were very symbolic of the movie. And by that, I mean, there were some real highs and lows because there were some good boobs and some bad boobs.
Some high boobs and some low boobs.
And there were some good parts of the movie and some bad parts of the movie. So Rocket Romano, Paul McCrane, as soon as I saw that, I'm very good with recognizing voices. And it's weird because I don't have an ear for music. I don't understand any of that stuff. But I hear a voice and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Rocket Romano right away. And with that crazy ginger hair, it was cracking me up because I know him as Rocket Romano. And then I've seen him in a few things, obviously, since then. So it was fun to see him and a few other people. And I love Irene Cara's voice. And I especially with the one from Flashdance, What a Feeling. That's like my go-to song, whatever. But what else was I going to say? The Fame. Okay, here's my one critique. I'm sorry, Amy, but the Fame song, I think they screwed it up big time for 2 reasons. Number one, they should have ended the movie with it. That was an ending song for the whole show. The name of the movie is Fame. The name of the song is Fame. It's a high note. It's a fun pick-me-up song. To me, I kept saying to Danielle, I can't wait for the end. They're gonna go out on Fame. It's gonna be great. And then did it in the middle.
They do play it over the credits.
Yeah, but the movie's already over.
Sure.
Is it?
I thought that final song, whatever they did, that should have been Fame. That should have been Fame. The final scene of the movie should have been Fame. It should have gone on a high note.
I
Everyone
have to
danced.
disagree because that final song is definitely one of those graduation songs.
I
That
see.
schools-
And it was a good song, but
Ever written.
It's a graduation song.
But I get it, Mark. In fact, one of the notes that I wrote was, if I was going to cut one scene from the movie, Fame would have been the scene I was just going to cut right the fuck out.
and that was my problem with it, was that it was a regular movie about musical students that turned into a musical, right? That entire scene was unrealistic, right? Which means it's a musical. They did a musical number as if it was inside of a Broadway musical. Yeah, Joel, don't shake your head.
No, I'm going to shake my head on that because you're dealing with that song has it's not like a musical where the songs advance the plot and work with the characters to reveal their feelings. It is a song that a guy wrote, his father played it in the streets, and a whole shitload of kids who are at a performing arts school came running out and danced to it. That doesn't make it a musical in my book.
Yeah, it was
does.
the end of the school day. They heard the music. They're like, "Oh, this sounds nice. Let's all dance in the street."
No, but they were all dancing on cars.
Yeah.
It was an unrealistic scene set, and everything was very realistic.
Everything else was realistic. I get it.
So to me, it took me out of the movie, and it turned into a musical in that 5 minutes, and I felt again that I get what you're saying about the ending with the song, but for me, I was expecting that song at the end, and I didn't care for the way they did it. So either way,
While I agree with you in this moment, Mark, in the graduation, if you're going to end this movie at the graduation, Fame is not the song, I don't think, to end. I think Sing the Body Electric is such an incredible, chilling song.
and I
get what you're saying. I just don't think it would have worked in either case.
And I did like that song, to be honest. And I feel like I had heard it before. I don't know if I have or not, whatever. But it was a good
Probably
song.
at graduation.
Probably at your graduation.
Maybe.
Ah.
I just felt like it
So,
should have been
and
more.
I
I felt
disagree that the songs in this movie do also advance the plot and relate
Some of
stories.
them do, some of them don't.
Inner thoughts of definitely Paul McCrane. Both his songs.
Oh, his
about
songs, I
his-
agree with. His songs definitely are songs
Yeah.
that should be part of a musical.
Yeah. And
Um,
it definitely talks about his feelings. And I
Yeah.
think Out Here on My Own too.
I'm
that's
not
how
saying,
she feels.
I'm not saying it's not. It's just for that song specifically. I don't.
Right,
think it-
Fame, no.
Yeah.
But
so.
they all-
All I'll say is, so I don't take up all the time. I'll say that I totally get what you guys are saying, and I agree from a movie making perspective. But for me, seeing this I guess it's my expectations. I was expecting Fame to be the big ending number because I hadn't seen it before. And I felt like they should have done something like Titanic or Dirty Dancing and done like a bunch of instrumental versions throughout the movie. And then at the end, done the big song that, that
Well, Mark,
defines
did
the
you
movie.
not hear me say that the song wasn't written when they filmed the movie? So how could they keep putting it in if they didn't have it?
Easily think about like what's the song Time of My Life, right? So in Dirty Dancing they had that randomly in the background while something is going on. You could easily do that in the editing room months after the movie is made. That's what I meant just like, here's a little snippet of Fame, here's a little snippet of Fame at the end, boom, Fame. That and I don't want to get on to it too long. I just that was, for me, I thought it should have gone that way.
Yeah, especially if that's what you're expecting.
Maybe they
What
didn't
else?
know it was going to win an Oscar.
I thought at the end, I was a little confused. The pretty French chick who was the highfalutin one, she got knocked up, but they didn't really wrap things up with that. I guess she just flunked out of
Got an
school. and
abortion.
Oh, she had an abortion.
but she wasn't in the ending at all. She didn't graduate.
She didn't dance in the group of the dancers?
No. We were looking for her. We're like, where did she go? Did she drop out of
Did she
school?
go to San Francisco or California? She was going to the West
Yeah, she was-
Coast.
I think she said that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, I'm sorry, that was just her ending of the movie. By the way, she's had, I read about her, and she's like a legit ballet dancer, and people have written music for her. She's like a legit
Wow.
force. And the kid, Bruno, he also, he grew up, he's done scores for movies.
He's done
He's
music,
written,
I think, yeah.
he does a lot of music. He like writes real music. So I appreciated they had real musicians in the movie.
They got him out of a different school of music at the time. So
Oh, yeah.
he wasn't
Okay.
he wasn't at PA. I forget where
He might have been at LaGuardia.
No, he wasn't at LaGuardia. I don't remember the name of the school, but he was at a music school, and they brought him in specifically,
Hmm.
to audition for this. So,
Wow.
and there was an interview with him. He was talking about his acting in the film, and he had a problem with the whole scene with Fame being played in the street, because he's supposed to be angry at his father for playing his music, and that went against all of his instincts
Because it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with it being finished. He was like,
That's what he said. It wasn't finished.
I understand that, but if his acting in that, he does not act angry. He said that Alan Parker kind of gave up on him, trying to get him to be angry about it.
So there might have been a huge storyline and they cut it because he just might not.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Just like Keith in the Florida video.
Where are we going?
Okay,
I
Mark,
will-
what's your final 3 stars? Yes?
I will end by saying I liked it, but I wanted it to be better. I thought it was going to be better. I wanted to like it more. So I'm
Yeah,
going to go with
unfortunately, when you have 7 years of a TV series in your head,
Yeah.
Well,
And it
hard
was
to
a
go
great
back.
show.
Yeah.
It was a
I
great
felt the
show.
same way. I had never seen the Odd Couple movie. I had only seen the TV series. And then when I watched the movie, I went, that's it? So,
it's actually 2.75 for me. I wanted it to be 3 or 3 1/4, and it didn't get there for me. So that's it.
all right, Joel, tell him why he's wrong.
Sure. I'm trying to think of which way to come at this. I like Alan Parker as a director.
I do too.
I have for a long time. One of my earliest film memories is of seeing Bugsy Malone.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
It was
sure.
his first
There's
film.
a musical.
Yeah. And a musical with kids younger than these kids who actually look like kids that should have been cast in this movie at the time.
14-year-olds, yeah.
14.
It was 5 years before this. So
Yeah. Well, they'd be 19 at that point. But,
yeah, they would have been perfect.
he
Scott Baio, Jodie Foster.
Yeah. But let
um,
me just kind of, because I don't want to forget to say, if you're going to have people age 4 years, you have to cast them older. And like I said before we started recording, Gene Anthony was 17 when he did this, so he was right there at the right age. He just looked older. And I imagine they were all on the 17, 18 range. They don't look 14, but you cast somebody 14, they're not going to look like they can graduate high school 4 years later.
That's totally fair. Totally fair.
And people looked older in 1980.
Yeah, way.
But the girl came in with Lamar. She looked like she was 25.
Leroy.
Leroy.
Oh yeah, Leroy.
Leroy.
Sorry, the girl
My
came in
ass
with him.
licking audition.
Yeah. She definitely looked older.
Irene
Oh,
Cara
weight makes
was
you look old.
21.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But her boobs are 45.
Lee Carreri was 19. Antonia Franceschi was 20. And Paul
Well, you
McCrane
Yeah, Paul McCrane.
was 19.
You want to cast over 18 so they don't have to be restricted in their hours.
Right, to have school, yeah.
Totally. I'm just being critical.
I know.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Barry Miller was 22.
Wow.
Jean Anthony Ray
He was
was
17.
17.
17, yeah.
And Maureen Teefy, well, how's that for a name?
Yep.
Oh, she looks cute.
That was Doris, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because you want to get an Irish girl to play a Jew.
Yeah.
She was 27.
Wow. Okay.
She was the oldest one.
Well, someone, I think it was Paul McCrane's character, said she looks Irish Jewish.
She's no longer performing.
She was good.
She was
Hey.
boring.
She stopped performing in 98.
Boring character for sure.
Boring.
All right, so Joel,
Um,
how old were you?
when this came out, I was 11
11.
or
So
10.
you didn't see it.
No, I saw it when it came out on video. I didn't see it in the theaters, but soon after, it was in the theaters when it came out on VHS. I'm sure we rented it, or I saw it on HBO or something. Soon after, I like the movie. It's definitely a movie of its time, but at the same time, I still think it's timeless in a lot of what it has to say. I think kids, especially kids who have that drive and that passion to perform, I think go through similar things. Maybe even worse now, because you've got all the social media aspects of and technological aspects that we've advanced with to make it, but you can relate to all of it. As I said, I think Alan Parker is a great, even his bad movies they're never horrible. They're
Vita's pretty horrible.
no, even Evita, I can defend to an extent, and I'd say honestly that like The Road to Wellville is a worse movie than Evita. But even that's not a horrible film. His stuff is always interesting, and I think he really.
And I love The Commitments.
Commitments is a
Love
great.
The
movie.
Commitments.
Yeah.
Bugsy Malone's a great movie. Pink Floyd, The Wall is a great movie. I'm missing a few in there, but Birdie, Midnight Express.
Birdie.
Midnight Express.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
that was the
God.
one thing about Parker is that he always tried, he started with Bugsy Malone and then went to Midnight Express. You couldn't have two polar opposite films. And then he comes back and
Really?
does Fame, and I think right after that was The Wall, or
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
and then Birdie was after that, I think.
Yes, Mississippi Burning.
Mississippi Burning.
Oh, Oscar winner.
Commitments,
Yeah.
Vita, yeah.
Come to the come see the Paradise.
Yeah.
His last movie's a little flaky, but anyway,
The Life of David Gale.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
is that one
Famous.
that's skippable. Anyway, he's a great director. I really like the movie. If it weren't for this movie, we would never have gotten Carrie the musical, because you got 4 people
Yeah.
involved in this movie that were involved in that. You got Debbie Allen choreographing, you had Michael Gore and Dean Pitchford writing the music and lyrics, and you had Jean Anthony Ray playing the John Travolta part from the film. So of course he's like 27 at that point, or 28, but that's all I got to say. It's 3.5 stars.
How did we get in to see it, Amy, if it was rated R?
In my notes, Annie.
Well, it's your turn
Let me pull up my notes here.
and your
Okay.
hair.
Fucking hair. As I said to you guys before, this movie came out when Annie, you turned 14 in January. I turned 14 in June. This movie came out in June of 1980, 14 years old. I'm the exact age that these kids are supposed to be, because we went to junior high school where you go 7, 8, 9, and then we went to high school 10, 11, 12. These kids went to the school in 9th grade. So they would have auditioned in 8th grade, which is what Annie and I had just finished. So this movie could not have been bigger and more important to me as a 14-year-old, and that's why I picked it. I spent my entire childhood in all the school plays. I was in the orchestra. I played the flute. I played the piano. I played the violin. I was in every play I could be in. And I did audition for a PA. And I went to Annie's house the night before the audition. I had no idea what I was doing. I had nobody in my life to help me. And I found some fakakta monologue, tried to memorize the entire thing at Annie's house in her bedroom the night before. And of course I didn't get in because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But that's all I ever wanted, was to go to PA. And Annie and I's very good friend at the time, Rachel, she got immediately in and went there for violin. And my other BFF, Elisa, went in for clarinet. Sorry, Annie, because she played clarinet too. So I knew people who went there, and going to PA was the biggest, most important thing. So this movie was huge to me. And like Annie just said, how the hell did we get in if it was rated R?
Yeah.
Did Wendy take us? Did we sneak in? It wasn't like me to sneak in at 14, and we certainly didn't look like we were 17. So
Did you not have like a taller friend or something? Because I was the designated,
All
big
friends.
friend that got I was the adult that got everybody into Porky too.
I
So-
I don't remember.
And it still
that.
works for Joel to this day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't remember, but I can't imagine Annie and I didn't see it until it came out on video a year later. I can't imagine that. But who knows? Because now everything is a sham to me now that I don't remember this. But the music, I love the music. The album came out. I owned the album. I wore it out when Dogs in the Yard, when the movie opened today. I want to go crazy. Like, I used to sing that with my headphones on with Wendy in the bedroom. I started crying. And Body Electric, everybody in school sang I Sing the Body Electric. And I swear, at one of the sings that we had, a New York City thing, you have sing every year. It's the freshman, sophomore. That's what
They were
I-
singing. They're
Yeah.
singing.
every night. That's a freshman, sophomore versus the juniors versus the seniors, and you write your own show. And we used like Hot Lunch and Sing the Body. Dun, 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 dun. It was such a huge thing to play on the piano. Oh my God. What else? I did see it in the 90s. I spoke to a friend of mine I was doing a show with in the 90s, and I had mentioned this to him. He's like 10 years younger than me. I said, oh my God, you have to see Fame. So I watched it, and I didn't remember liking it. I think I mentioned it to you guys last year. I thought I didn't like it nearly as much 20 years ago as I did 40 years ago, but I'll come back to that. Rocky Horror thing. One of the things in the trivia, Frank, that you didn't mention was when he took her to see Rocky Horror, it made Rocky Horror become a much bigger event because people in Middle America had no idea until this movie, which was fabulous. And I just love that whole scene. Mark?
I was just gonna say, because again, this is a little bit before my time. I knew that Rocky Horror was a big cult thing, but I thought this movie was made in 1980, so it was probably filmed in '79. I didn't think it was already a big cult thing at that point. So
Well,
that
it
actually
wasn't-
surprised
it
me that
wasn't
was
New
featured
York.
in here.
It was in New York.
Yeah.
But I thought it was more like into the 80s, not by 79, 80. I didn't think it was already that big, so that surprised me.
Yeah, and the guy in the movie, Sal Piro, was
Yeah.
actually the president of the Rocky Horror Fan Club.
Yeah.
And every Friday and Saturday night, he'd be at the Waverly and he would host this thing. And
It's true.
we went several times.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ames. Sorry.
I know I just said the 8th Street Playhouse, wasn't it? Not the Waverly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then it moved to the Waverly. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. And I was in 1980, I was way too young to go. The only time I ever saw it in a movie theater with people performing was at the Midway Theater on Queens Boulevard, years later. But I was never able to go and see that. But I lived through it vicariously through Wendy, who was 18 when this movie came out. So she was a huge Rocky Horror fan. So that was a great scene to watch. It was so much fun because I love Rocky Horror. Oh my God, Mark, it's something you wouldn't know at all that Annie, I would imagine you remember, was putting bottle caps on our sneakers and tap dancing. That was a huge thing to do. And in
That's
gym,
funny.
we would sometimes have tap dancing class in gym and we would put caps on our sneakers.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that at all.
That was a real thing.
Okay.
And I forgot that scene. There were so many scenes, just like in Airplane, where I said, oh, I remember the scene and I remember exactly how this line is going to be said. And when he was tap dancing, I thought, oh my God, he's got bottle caps. And then they actually showed the caps. So that was fun. But yeah, there were a lot of lines where Doris's mother went, Doris, we're in with the phone. I was like, it's coming. She's gonna say it just this way, because I saw it so many times. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Not if you want diabetes, said that line from 1980 on. That was it. I said all my lines. So when I was watching it today, I liked it so much more for whatever reason than I did in 1998. And I was like, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. But after listening to everybody talk and now reliving it more, I thought I could watch it again right now. So I'm going 3.75 from 3.5. That was originally. And it's higher than I expected it to be, because I don't want to say every movie that I pick, I'm going to give 4 stars to. Because God knows what I'm going to think about the Bad News Bears 40 years after I.
You said 3.75 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
This afternoon it was 3.5, but I really, I go back and think.
I really, and me too. I totally enjoyed watching it. I watched it this morning and, no, I watched it yesterday, right? And, it really is so beautifully put together, and everybody in it is good. I mean, there are some moments I'm like, wow, that was a nice line reading. That reaction is beautiful.
But every single line reading from Garci, what's his nuts, Ralph Garci, was beautiful. And they were talking about him getting nominated for an Oscar, but he wasn't. But he was so heartbreaking. He was beautiful.
6 Oscar nominations, but not Best Picture.
Yeah. And
Um,
Paul McCrane too, when he did his monologue at the opening, was beautiful. But then the Garci character, I read, I'm sure some of you did also in the trivia, he was a Romana Clef of Freddie Prinze. He was absolutely Freddie Prinze, who went to Catch a Rising Star and blew the roof off the joint and then failed the next time.
Yeah, they referenced him a few times, and I guess
he was his like idol.
Right. And so that's Freddie Prinze Jr.'s father, right?
yes.
That's-
Yes.
Okay, I have no idea who Freddie Prinze is. I have never seen him.
Freddie
Yes.
Prinze Jr. Oh my God.
I only know Freddie Prinze Jr.
You don't
so
know Sanford and Son?
Chico and the Man?
Sanford and
Chico and
Son
the
is-
Man, Chico and the Man, I'm sorry.
I know of the shows. Have I ever seen an episode when I was 5 years old? Maybe. It doesn't resonate.
Amy, you forget we're dealing with youngsters here.
Oh my
A
God.
youngster.
And I'm out. As
Um,
soon as he said Freddie Prinze Jr., I'm like, what are you talking about? Freddie Prinze. Oh, Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah.
that is his father, yes. Any other comments? Are we good now? All right.
Mark, you look like you're about to say something and then you thought better of it.
I'll
What?
wait till we're off camera to talk about something.
Ah,
Was it a racial thing?
No.
no, Rachel got into the performing arts school.
Yeah.
All right, so Fame is available on HBO Max if you have that service. Or you can rent it from the library, as I always say. Next Monday, we are tackling one of Mark's picks, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Oh,
Now,
I forgot
he
about
thought-
that.
Yes, he
Yep.
thought maybe we should watch an actual Bruce Lee movie, but we vetoed that.
But how is
Um,
that connected to Mother's Day, by the way?
Because
Yeah,
he
we-
was a mother.
Bruce Lee had a mother. She's
He was
still
a
alive.
mother.
Yeah, he was a bad mother.
He was a bad mother. It's not on any streaming service. You have to rent it or get it from the library. I think I've mentioned that, right?
I have it on
Oh.
DVD if anybody needs me to somehow save it. And
I need it.
Yes, let's talk about
I know you need it.
on this.
Yes,
this
we'll talk
program.
about bootlegging.
All right,
offline.
let's not. Piracy hurts everyone. All right, thank you for watching. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. Watch Fame. Amy's gonna watch it right now again.
I am, and also with you and the cat.